This is an instructional video on how to enter form data into REDCap. In our previous video, we learned about the basic functionality of forms. So how to navigate to forms, how to navigate within forms, the different types of data and validations for each field that we could use, and some other useful features for collaborating on the forms. This video will go into a little bit more depth on a new type of form that we haven't yet discussed and some other useful features of REDCap. To begin, let's look at this follow-up form. As you remember before, to enter a form, we click on the bubble. So we'll do that. And it's a very familiar form in that we have the same types of fields that we've seen thus far. So remember with dates, in this text box, we can enter the date manually with the right format. We can click on the date picker here, and we can also click today, which is handy functionality. Let's go through these single choice options and just enter patient status to be alive with disease. Let's say there was no relapse or progression and that there was no second malignancy that hasn't been previously reported. And now we see a new field type. This is a matrix. You have a few different fields within the matrix, but they all have the same type of value that would be the option for the data. So let's go through and click yes or no to different anti-cancer treatments. Let's say no chemotherapy, yes radiotherapy, no targeted therapy, yes to immunotherapy, and you'll also notice there are conditionals in this form as well. So if immunotherapy has been entered, we need to enter the specific name of the drug for that. So immunotherapy, drug name. We have an additional set of single choice fields. So let's go through those and enter. Let's say the patient has not enrolled or followed any of these studies that have not been reported. They have not been diagnosed with any predisposition. They have not withdrawn consent, and they were not confirmed lost. We also have the option to add some further relevant comments here, which we'll do. And let's assume that everything is correct here. We don't need to mark it as incomplete or unverified. We'll just save and exit the form. Now you'll notice one interesting thing here is that unlike the registration form above at the top, in the follow-up form, there is a new button, the plus button here. Now with a follow-up form, of course, we have more than one, whereas with a registration form, we don't. So we can just add a new follow-up form by clicking the plus button. If you click this green button, it'll just go to that first follow-up. So we want to do this if we add a new form. And we'll just mark today just to be a bit faster here. And we'll add some of, or enter some of these same options. Okay, so patients alive with disease, there is no relapse or progression, no second malignancy. But let's say now the person that's entering the data in the form needs to verify some information and actually leave this form. So they can, let's say, for example, save and stay. Regardless of which option you choose to save, you'll get this error or note rather pop up, noting the different values that require, you remember the must provide value tag, all of these different values that require information. So I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to go back to the record home by clicking on that in the toolbar on the left. Now, when you look at this record homepage, and it would be the same if you go to the record status dashboard, which we'll look at here, you'll see that there is a bluish color. The reason for that is that these are multiple different statuses. If you go to the record homepage, you'll see something similar to this little table. And you can see one is green status, one is red status, meaning incomplete. We can again directly go here from this record status dashboard, but let's look at what the view is from the record homepage. So again, you can see repeating instruments here and click on this there. And we can go through, we can add in the same details again. We'll add in the immunotherapy drug name, and then mark it as complete. And now that it is complete, the colors change to green. So basically, if any of the follow-up forms has more than one status, the color will be blue since there's mixed statuses. But if the statuses are all the same, they will display that color. So if they're all complete, they will all be green, and so on and so forth. Now, follow-up makes sense as a repeating form. So does event. So if we click on event here, we can click through this drop-down. Maybe there is a progression. We've added in a follow-up for this, and now we're adding in the date and information for the event itself. Okay, and we're just adding some different options. This is a new field based on the videos we've had where you can have multiple choice for the options. Another single choice here for locations of current tumor involvement. And then we have, let's say, method of this relapse or progression detection. And that may be all for it. So let's go ahead and complete this form. We'll save and exit. We know it's okay, so we won't get any notes or errors. And now you can see that just like the follow-up forms, you also have a little box on the bottom of the page that shows you a list of all these different occurrences of this form. So you can access each one, see the status of each one simply.